Hey guys, welcome back to another Scratch tutorial. Today's gonna be, I'd say, another beginner Scratch tutorial, but I mean, it could be intermediate. I don't know. Anyway, uh, drop a like and subscribe, and let's get into it. So first of all, we obviously want to get rid of this cat. And the game I think we're gonna be making today is like a cannon shooting game where you like have your cannon and then you aim it to shoot things that are coming from the sky, like a meteor kind of thing. So let's actually go to and let's create a new sprite. All right, let's call it you can call it turret or cannon, don't care. And then what we're gonna want to do is we're actually gonna want to make something that looks like kind of like a turret. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm gonna do my best to create a turret, but it kind of has to look like a kind of like so it looks like a turret, like kind of like that. Yeah, like that. But like that's not it. And then we wanna make like something like that, so it kind of looks like a turret, okay? And remember it has to kind of look like that because we want this bit to be right in the middle. So you don't want this to be in the middle. Okay, so first of all, actually, let's take this off, and we're going to actually put this in the middle. Put the circle in the middle, and then we're going to put this on, just so we know that the circle is exactly in the middle. And you'll see why in a bit, why we have to have the circle in the middle. Yeah, so we have our turret. I should probably make it a bit bigger. It's a bit small right now. There we go, that's better. But, okay, once again, I'm going to have to, bear with me really quick, because I'm going to have to make that thing again right in the middle here. Alright, there we go. That's perfect. Perfecto. Okay, so now we have our turret, and we want our turret to be, do we want it so that when we can whenever we move the mouse, it'll follow the mouse so we can aim it. And how we're going to do that is we drag a forever when clicked, and then we're going to go to forever, and then we're going to go point toward mouse pointer, and that should work. Okay, so immediately there's a bug because it's not pointing towards mouse pointer. So we can fix this really easily by just going here. Nope. By just going here, highlighting it, and then just, you know, flipping it around that way. And then once again, we will want this in the middle, like exactly in the middle. So right about there. So now if we do it, it'll follow it. And the reason you want it in the middle is because if you don't have it in the middle, it'll look really weird when you turn it. I got it pretty much in the middle, but we're going to use that. That's pretty good. Alright, so now we'll do this, and then let's put this thing at the bottom of the screen, and we're going to do a go to. So I explained in my last video what a go to is, but it's basically, it goes to the coordinates that are on here. It automatically goes there whenever you start the code. So if you're a little bit more new to Scratch, I would highly recommend going watch the other video because that actually goes into depth about a lot of the other things of Scratch. And so now we have our turret that can point in direction, right? But right now it's not very good turret because you know you can't do anything. It just spins around. So let's close out of that, and then let's actually do something that's a little different, and let's go to my blocks. Okay, so what my block is, it's basically like a function. So I'll tell you about it right after you make this block. So let's make a block, and then let's just call it shoot. Okay, don't add any of this stuff, and then click run without screen refresh, and then do shoot. So defining shoot, which this is basically makes your code look cleaner and makes it so you don't have as many bugs. So if you drag shoot here, whatever's under here will happen here. So let's make something. So if we do if forever if mouse down, which means forever. If you click on the mouse, then we're gonna want to shoot. Okay, so that means whenever we click mouse down, it will shoot. And then we're gonna want to do wait until not mouse down. That way, whenever we shoot, we can't just spam the shoot. We have to keep clicking the mouse in order to shoot multiple times. So let's focus on define shoot, because right now shoot doesn't mean anything. It doesn't do anything if we click the mouse. Shoot doesn't mean anything. So in order to define shoot, we just put blocks under here, and it will happen here. It's pretty easy. So what we want is when we hit the mouse button, a bullet comes out of here. So we're gonna create a new sprite, and we're gonna call it the bullet or laser, whatever you want to call it. And let's make one that's kind of small. So I'm gonna make mine red because I feel like that's what it should be. And make it kind of like this, just kind of like that. So that way it's kind of like a bullet. Mine is more like a laser, actually. Make sure it's in the middle. It's just good to be in the middle because it prevents other things from happening, like bad things from happening. And let's go here, and what we want to do, we want to define shoot, okay? But first, before we define shoot, let's go to bullet, and we want to go when the flag is clicked, we want to hide, and then we want to go to forever, and then we want to go to motion, and then go to mouse turret. That way it will always go to the turret. And actually, let's just test this out by not having the hide there, and let's just see if it goes to the turret. Yep, it will forever go to the turret. But we also want it to forever point in direction of the turret, because we want it to shoot in the direction that you're pointing. So let's go point in direction, or point in direction. Actually, let's not do that. Let's go to forever point towards mouse pointer. It'll make it easier, because that way it will do it independently from that. So we have the same problem we ran into the turret. That's easy to be solved. We just flip that around, and boom, solved. So there we go. So it's independently following the turret. So right now that's great. We want to hide it because we'll do something with clones. So if we go to turret, we want to define shoot. And in order to do that, we have to, first of all, we don't have to do any forever and define because it's already here in it. So we'll just do this. We will create clone of bullet. That's pretty much all we have to do. And because now when we play, it will create clones of the bullet, but you can't see them because the bullet's hidden. So let's go here, and let's grab when I started a clone. If you don't know what a clone is, it's basically when you create a clone, it creates a clone of the player that can do independent things, do things independently, and then it will delete the clone. So in this case, a bullet is perfect for a clone because each bullet is pretty much a clone of the original bullet. But we'll never actually see the original bullet. We'll always only see clones of the bullet. So what we'll do when I start as a clone, first of all, we want to show, and then we also want to go to back layer so that it's behind the turret, because if it's in front of the turret, it'll look like the bullet's going over the turret and not through the turret. And then we want to go forever, and then we want to go move forward 10 steps. And the reason we're not doing Y is because otherwise it would move up, not forward. Forward could be in any direction. So do move forward 10 steps. And then we're going to want to drag an if statement inside. And the reason we're doing this is is because if it's either touching the enemy that we're shooting or the edge of the screen, then we're gonna want the bullet to disappear, and we'll get to the enemies a little later. So let's grab an ore, and let's grab if touching edge. It'll be right there. So edge is just the edge of the screen, and we'll add an ore there later on when we get to the player. But if touching edge, we want to go here and delete the clone. That will just delete it, get rid of it, gone. So now let's test it. If we click, it makes little bullets, and they go in the direction that we shoot. It's nice. It's all good. You can't. Currently, the thing stops. Currently when you shoot, there is a bug though, because currently when you shoot, the turret just stops. You can't like move it if you're holding it in. So that's easy to fix, because if we just go to the turret, all we have to do is this: just take it out, and then grab a forever loop, and then grab the events, and there. That is just because it was doing this and not doing this while we were shooting. So this is also why you want it to be in other ones, because other things, because it also can interfere with your code. Now if we do it, you can move it freely when you shoot, which is just a nice touch. It's not required, but it just makes it feel better when you play it. So now there's really nothing to shoot at though. That you just kind of shoot the turret and nothing happens. So what we want to do is we want to create an enemy, and the enemy doesn't have to be like super big, and it doesn't have to be super big at all. We can just make an enemy. Let's just make the enemies a blue circle, and this is just. You can change this whenever you want. Oh, and you can also hold shift and press the thing, and it will create an exact circle. So let's just create a blue circle. These will be our enemies. Alright, and since we've already done with clones, this will be the same too. So what we're going to want to do is we want the enemy to go around here, start on the top wherever you want. And then we want it to gradually go towards the player, because we want when the player gets hit, we want the game to end. To do this, we are gonna go when the flag is clicked. We're gonna hide, because we always want to hide the original. And then we want to grab a forever loop, and then we want to wait. Let's say 2 seconds, because that'll delay the time it'll delay the time for how long it will create the clone. So now we just have to create clone of myself, and then we have to drag a when I start as clone. Remember, cloning is just cloning itself and then doing something when we do it. So let's call this actually an enemy. I think that's how you call an enemy. When I start as a clone, we want to go to a random coordinate. And so we'll do this. We'll take out the hide to start so we can see it, and then we can actually drag it by doing this. So we will put it here, which that coordinate is so actually we're gonna so the way this is, we're gonna randomly pick an X coordinate. I don't know if I'm making sense. We're randomly picking an X coordinate between two things. So if you go to operators and pick random, we can put it in that X thing, because we want to pick random between -266, which keep in mind is the limit to how the span of how far it's going to create clones from. 2, and then we'll move this to the other side, 224. So there we go, 224. And we'll keep this Y at the same spot because we don't want to change the height that it's coming out from. We only want to change the X position from across and across that we want to change. So I don't know if I'm making too much sense. I feel like I'm not making too much sense. But anyway, just listen and then yeah. So we're gonna go to when we started the clone. We want to go to random, and then we want to go forever, and we want to move. Let's say 5 steps. So move 5 steps. Yeah, that's great. And then you also want to forever point towards the player. We can probably put that there. Point towards the turret. That way it goes to a trajectory towards the bullet instead of just going up, down, and then it doesn't really matter. So, alright, great. And then we want to make it so that if it's touching the turret, the player, the turret, then we want to delete the clone. And I'm not doing as much explaining in this video as I did in the last one. I don't think I really need to, because this is more of an intermediate one, but I just think that you should watch the other one. If you're a beginner in Scratch, I'll put the link to that other video in the description, and you should watch that one. Or you could just copy off of this one, and it's still good. If you're just learning Scratch, if you just copy off of this video, I'm going kind of quick, so if you just copy off of this video and make this game, and even if it doesn't work, it's still good. So don't be disappointed if it doesn't work, because this should work. It's just probably a bug in your code, but it'll still be a learning experience so that you'll get better at Scratch. So, okay, so we want to delete the clone when it's touching turret. So let's test this game out. There we go. So randomly every 2 seconds, it will pick a spot randomly, and it will fly towards the turret. See, yeah, the reason that's there is because we forgot to press hide. So we just go here, we hide, and boom. We have our enemies that fly at the turret every 2 seconds. Actually, see, there's a bug, because it's actually, we need to show this at the beginning. So let's try this again. There we go. So every 2 seconds, a new enemy will fly from the top of the screen down, and then you right now you can't shoot them yet, but you will be able to shoot them. Okay, let's actually do shooting them. And believe it or not, it's so much easier than you think. All we have to do is duplicate this, and then if we go to if touching enemy, then if touching the enemy, then the bullet will disappear, and then if the enemy if the enemy is touching the bullet, it should disappear. So all we have to do is grab and or duplicate this, put it in there, and then make it the bullet. So that way it disappears when the bullet is touching. The bullet disappears when the bullet's touching the enemy, and the enemy disappears if it's touching the bullet. So let's try this, and let's see if it's actual. It's a fun game. Actually, it's not bad, because that was weird. Yeah, but it's not working very well for some reason. That was weird. But yeah, so it is a pretty good game. But right now, like in the last video, it's not very good because you can't lose. You can't lose the game. It's no fun if you can't lose the game. So we're gonna go back to variables, and we're gonna make a variable called player lives. Okay, so if we have the player lives, let's just put it at the bottom so it looks nicer. And let's go to the turret and set the player lives to, let's just say 3. So every time you get hit by an enemy, then you get then you lose 1 life. And then if you get to 0 lives, then you lose. The game over happens. So let's start by going to this enemy. So we don't want this. This is not good because we don't want it that if it's touching the turret or the bullet, it deletes the clone. So we're actually gonna take this bullet out, this out, and we're gonna take the ore out, and we're just gonna put the turret in, and we're gonna duplicate the if statement. That way, this doesn't interfere, and we're gonna change that to bullet. This doesn't interfere with this one because we don't want it every time we shoot an enemy, then we lose a life because that defeats the whole point of the game. So we're gonna make it look like that. We're gonna make one say turret and one bullet. You don't have to take out the delete this clone. All we're gonna do is change the player lives by -1. That way, we can have the player lives. so if we test it now, if we get hit by one of the bullets, our player lives okay, actually I did something wrong. So I'm sorry, I'm kind of tired. So we have to actually put it in the turret one because we don't want it if touching the bullet. So let's try that again. So if the thing touches it, we lose a life. And we only lose it once since the enemies disappear right when it's there. If we hadn't done that, you'd want to do wait until not touching it, because otherwise you'd get like a billion lives lost in one hit. So, but right now we are perfectly fine, and we can actually even shoot them, so it prevents us from getting there. Okay, perfect. Whole game. Nice. Not yet, because we can't lose yet still. So let's go to turret, and let's drag a win flag clicked, and then go to control, and then forever, and then if. We did this in the last video. So we're going to go into the less than, and then we're gonna drag out a less than, which is like left, a arrow pointing left for a less than, and we're gonna do less than 1, and we're gonna go to player. If player lives is less than 1, we want it to do something, and we want to end the game. So like we said last time, we want it to go to an end screen, but we want it to go to a game over screen with everything going away. So let's get a broadcast message, and let's call it a game. Actually, let's call it hide, because that worked pretty well last time. So when we broadcast hide, we want to drag or receive hide, because we want this the turret to hide as well. And let's also grab a show to put at the beginning, and we'll grab a hide for the receiving hide, so that when we broadcast hide, it hides, because when we receive hide, it should hide. And then we'll grab, and then when we also want to hide variable player lives, and also at the beginning of the sequence we want to show variable player lives. That way when we hide, it hides the variable player lives, but then when we start the game again, it shows the character and shows the player lives, so that it's not gone forever. And then we can just go here. We don't actually have to do anything for the bullet. Well, I guess we have to. Okay, let's yeah, we have to do something for the bullet, kinda. Yeah, I don't think, yeah, we don't have to do anything for the bullet, and, well, we could, but we don't really have to. Yeah, we don't have to do anything for the bullet. So, let's go to enemy, and then let's go to, when I receive hide, and then let's go to, let's hide. So, but we probably don't even have to do this for this one, but let's just do it just in case. And then we want to do that the wait 2, and so we're going to do 0.001 seconds. We did the wait in the last time because it's like a buffer for the computer. It just helps it, because it's waiting for everything else to hide before we do the next one. It probably doesn't matter, but you know, it's just a habit for me to do, and it doesn't hurt anybody. It doesn't hurt the code or anything. And then we want to stop all. So right now, if we actually, 1 second, we don't want to do that yet because we haven't made a game over screen. So let's duplicate this screen, and then let's create a game over screen, and let's make it red maybe. Game over. So there we go. So we made a game over screen. That's great. So now all we have to do now is go to the code and then go to back to the turret, and then we want to go to switch backdrop to backdrop 1 when we start, because that will make it so that we'll switch to the right screen, and then when the player lives is less than 1, switch to backdrop 2. Okay, so that way we have our backdrop switching to the game over screen. Everything hides, but let's test that. So let's see us lose all our lives. So 1 life, then we have 2 lives, then we have 3 lives, and everything shuts down, goes to game over, and the game ends. Perfect. Great. Spectacular. Now we want to do is create a score, because the game's not very fun if you don't really know how much you're getting. So let's go to the variables, and let's create a score variable. And then let's call it score and put it down here. Next, we want to let's set the variable score to 0, which means it will set your score to 0 when you start the game. And then let's go to enemy, and then if it's touching the bullet, we want to change the score by 1. That way, if we shoot it, here I'll see. I'm not sure why. What is it? Okay, yeah, if we shoot it, it's like you need to shoot it with multiple ones, which actually could be a good mechanic. If you need to shoot the enemy with multiple ones. Yeah, so that works, alright? Everything works in this game, but you want to shoot the enemy with multiple things. And we also found another bug, which is the score variable doesn't go away, and that's easy to fix. We just have to go to the beginning of the script and then show variable score, and then when we receive hide, we want to hide variable score. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Okay, next we're going to do something called a cloud variable. If you don't know what a cloud variable is, it's basically where it can be used to create high scores. It can be used to create lots of things. So in order to create a variable, cloud variable, just make a variable, let's call it high score. And then select this cloud variable. Basically, this stores it on the server where every new game it'll stay the same. So it stores it on the server, which means that if you played a game, and then let's say you played a game, and then your friend Timmy got 20 points, and then another user went on and called Billy Bob Joe went on and scored 22 points, it would change it to 22 points instead. So let's hit OK, and then it'll have a little cloud, so you know. And then let's just put it at the other side. And we want to set. And the thing is, we don't want to set the high score to 0. Right? We don't want to set the high score to 0. All right. And then let's go to turret, and then let's go to turret, and then let's grab a when clicked, and then forever, and then we want to forever if, and then we want to do if high score, let's grab a high score and put it on the 50, and then if your score is higher than the high score, we want to have it set the set the high score to your score. So that's pretty easy to do. Just create an element to the high score. So we can do horribly, and see the score is higher than the high score. And then let's lose really quickly. Oh, and we'll fix the high score. And then let us score more than the high score. And see, the high score stayed the same. It stayed at 2. And then we see, look, the high score changes when you get a higher score. And then it will stay there. And then also let's change that because there was a bug. So we'll just go to hide variable high score, and we can show the variable high score at the beginning of the scripts. It'll show it, and at the end, when we receive hide, it will hide the variable high score. I don't know if I'm making sense, and if you can copy this, I'm going a little fast. You can slow down the video, pause whenever you want. But yeah, we're pretty much done with the game, except let's just make a quick backdrop really quick. This will be pretty easy. I'm just gonna make a quick one really quick. And the backdrops are basically just the backdrops. It's just the backgrounds. And then we can just make a blue sky maybe. And then you can hit the backward if you want it to be backward. Great. We are done with the project. Let's see what we did. So if we start the project, the thing starts at 0. We can go through, we can shoot these little guys, and then you can make the frequency of these little guys come back a little more. But if we get above the high score, then it changes the high score, and then if we die really quickly, sets the backdrop there, and the game ends. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. I hope you could follow it. I know I went a little fast. You can slow down the video. I don't know. Do whatever you need. And I will see you in the next Scratch tutorial. I will see you later. Bye.